Hello students, today we are doing the second day of 7.3, multiplying polynomials. Go ahead, download the notes or get paper notes so you can follow along with this. Pause the video here so you can try this warm up and using your distributive property to find the product. And remember, when you are multiplying, remember what you do with your exponents. Then unpause the video once you are done with these 6 questions to check your work. All right, here are your answers. For number 1, you get 5x squared plus 10x. So remember, when you multiply with exponents, you add them. So x times x gives you that x squared. Number 2, we get 4x squared plus 2. So we're distributing this 2 and multiplying the 2 through. Number 3, negative 3x times 2x gives us negative 6x squared. And actually here, then we get negative 3x times negative 1 is positive 3x. This 4 gets distributed kind of backwards here a little bit, but we get negative 4x squared plus 8. This 3 gets distributed backwards here, so we get 3x squared minus 6x plus 3. And here, when we distribute this negative x, we get that negative 2x cubed, positive 5x squared, and then a positive x. So today we are going through multiplying, like I said, and multiplying 2 binomials together today. So example number 1, finding the area of the rectangle. So we need to remind ourselves that finding the area means that we're taking the length times the width. So here we're going to do 4 times 26 to get us the area of this rectangle, and 4 times 26 is 104. So that would be the area of this rectangle. To multiply together to get this area of the rectangle, we would do 24 times 35, and 24 times 35 here gives us 840. So the area of this rectangle would be 840. Okay, so in example 2, if we have to find the area of this rectangle, now all of a sudden we have to take and we have to multiply 2x plus 3 times x plus 4. And now all of a sudden it gets a little bit more complicated because we have a binomial, remember, 2 terms, times a binomial, 2 terms. We need to figure out how we can multiply these together. So we are going to be using a method. We could use the horizontal method here, where you are doing double distributive property, and you're multiplying this x times both numbers inside the second set of parentheses. So you see x here is getting multiplied by x plus 5, and 2 is getting multiplied by x plus 5. So you're multiplying everything in the first set of parentheses times everything in the second set of parentheses. So if we look at this problem, x plus 2 times x plus 5, if we go through this and do just like this, we're going to do x times this x, which we know is x squared. We're then going to take x times this 5, which is 5x. And then we have to do the same thing with this 2. So we're going to do 2 times x, which is 2x. And since it's a positive 2, that's why I put the plus sign in front of it. And then positive 2 here times positive 5 is positive 10. And so that's where we get plus 10. Our last step for these problems is to combine any like terms. And remember, the like terms here are 5x and 2x, since they have the same letter and the same exponent or lack of exponent. And 5x plus 2x is 7x. It was a positive 7x, so I need a plus in front of it. X squared comes along with it, and plus 10 is at the end. So this here is our final answer. X squared plus 7x plus 10. Okay, so we can try this next one here. x plus 2, x plus 5, that's the one we just did. So we're going to jump over here to example 3, x plus 3, x minus 4. So again, double distributive property, x times x is x squared. Then we do x times a negative 4, which is negative 4x. Then I do the same thing with the 3. The 3 gets distributed as well. 3 times x is a positive 3x. And 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. From there, we can combine any like terms we have, which most often happen right in the middle. Negative 4x plus 3x. So we're doing negative 4 plus 3, which is negative 1, so negative 1x. X squared goes out front, that minus 12 comes down here at the bottom, and so then we're left here with x squared minus 1x minus 12 for our final answer. This method that we are using is called the FOIL method, okay, F-O-I-L, FOIL. And you will hear this in other math classes as you progress through your high school career. FOIL is an acronym that stands for multiply the first terms together. So multiply the first numbers together in the parentheses. That's that x times x. Then do the outside terms, the outer terms. X is on the outside and 2 is on the outside, so those outside terms. Then we do the inner terms, or the inside numbers, 1 times x. And then you do the last terms in each set of parentheses, which would be the 1 and the 2. So you'll hear this used as like kind of a verb, honestly. You'll say, hey, FOIL it. First, outside, inside, last. So if we use that FOIL method, just like we've been doing here, you start with your first term. So the first term in each set of parentheses, 2x times x. And 2x times x is 2x squared. Then you move to the outside terms, 2x and 5. Those are the two that are on the outside of the parentheses, out here and out here. So we end up getting 2x times 5, which is 10x. Then you move to the inner terms, inside. Negative 3 is on the inside and x is on the inside, so negative 3 times x is negative 3x. And then the last terms in each set of parentheses, which is negative 3 and 5, and negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. Your last step is always to combine any like terms that are there. It so happens that they're right here in the middle together. 10x minus 3x is a positive 7x. Since it's positive, I have a plus sign in front of it. 2x squared was out front. Minus 15 goes last. And so our final answer here is 2x squared plus 7x minus 15. Okay, go ahead. I want you to pause the video and I want you to try these 4 on your own. Number 1, 2, 3, and 4, please. Alrighty, here are your answers. Number 1, we get y squared plus 5y plus 4. Number 2, z squared plus 4z minus 12. Number 3, p squared minus 5p minus 24. And number 4, r squared minus 11r plus 10. Right above it, you'll notice that's the work that I showed here of me doing that double distributive property to get these and then combining the like terms for your final answer there that's highlighted. All right, example number 4, last example here. This one looks a little different because we are taking a binomial where it has 2 terms right here, x plus 5, times a trinomial, x squared minus 3x minus 2. This one has 3 sections. So we can't necessarily just use FOIL, first, outside, inside, last. We have to use kind of double distributive property. X and 5 need to get multiplied by all three sections or all three terms here in the second set of parentheses. So what I want to do is I'm going to take x and I'm going to multiply it by x squared, which is going to give me x to the third power. Then I'm going to take x and I'm going to multiply it by this middle number, negative 3x, which is going to give me negative 3x squared. And I'm going to multiply x times this last one, negative 2, and get negative 2x. So I took x and I multiplied it by all three terms. I had to distribute it to everything inside the parentheses there. Then I can do the same thing with 5. 5 is going to get distributed and multiplied by x squared, so I get plus a 5x squared. 5 is going to get multiplied here times that negative 3x, which is going to be negative 15x. And 5 is going to get multiplied by this negative 2, which is negative 10. So I multiplied this 5 times everything inside the second set of parentheses. The last step that we have is we want to now combine any like terms. So we go through and we take a look and we say, okay, is there any other x cubes? X to the third powers? Nope. So x to the third power is just by itself. Then I look to say, okay, here's a negative 3x squared. Is there any other x squareds that I can combine this with? And sure enough, there's a positive 5x squared right here. So negative 3x plus 5x. Negative 3 plus 5 is positive 2. So we get positive 2x squared. Remember, when you're adding and subtracting, you do not touch the exponents. Then I see here that I have a negative 2x and a negative 15x. Those are my next like terms. Negative 2 minus 15 is negative 17x. And then negative 10 doesn't have anything to combine with, so we just bring it along for the ride, and this is our final answer here of x cubed plus 2x squared minus 17x minus 10 for our final answer. If you still have questions on this video, you can go back, rewatch it, pause it, ask a friend, and get any of your questions answered. Have a good rest of your day.